Okay, welcome back. In our last video, we told us what the boilerplate is about and how we can create it using the shortcut, which is our shift and our apostrophe key. We press tab, it will automatically fill that up for us. So I'll clear this up again. Let's do that so we can see, and tab or enter, it completes it for us. But we're not talking about metadata yet, so I'll still take this out. And I also did something else. I installed an extension which is called live server, and what it does is this: if as I run it, if I just click and save, it will refresh the page. And you can do it by coming to your project, right clicking and clicking on open with live server, but you need to install it first. And you can install it by clicking on this icon, which is the marketplace, and then you search for live server, and then you should select this one. You can see it has about 3.5 million downloads, so this is the one you're looking for. You install it, and when you install it, it will ask you to restart your browser, and when you do it, it should begin to work if you just right click and run on live server. So you can see, I'll close this now and let's create more room. I had to put this side by side so that whatever we're doing you'll be seeing. So the first thing I'll do is to change this here. I'll change it to my first project, and if I save this, let's look at this. You can see it changes immediately to, as soon as you save it, it changes immediately. So that's one thing that comes bundled in this. So we will continue from where we stopped. The next thing we're going to be looking at is comments. And what are comments? For you to be a very good programmer and to make your code readable, it is important for you to put comments on your code so that people will, when someone else sees your code, the person will understand what you did or what you're doing. Or even you, in some cases, you might want to return back to your project and do some modification. With the comment, you can understand what's happening there. And comments in HTML looks like this. You have your less than sign, your quote symbol, 2 dashes, and then the comment will be inside, and after that you close again with just 2 quotes and the greater than sign. So coming here, let's say we want to start with h1. So we want to create a comment. Let's say we will start with the less than sign, and we put this symbol. We have 2 dashes. You see it automatically completes it for us. And then we can put something like, this is a comment, and we can save that. You see nothing happens here, but if we inspect our page, view page source, you see that there are a lot of things that came into this page now, which was done by live server, making it run and work. But now our main emphasis is this. You can see it is showing here, this is a comment, but on this page it's not showing. Forget about all of this JavaScript stuff you're seeing here. It was brought in by live server. So let's go further. Then instead of always typing this, you might have several lines of code and you want to comment them. All you have to do is you just highlight this several lines of comments, rather you just highlight them. You hold your control on your Windows machine or your command on your Mac machine, and you press with the /, and it comments automatically. So whether it is one line, you can just hold it, and that you can toggle between them, and you can see how it works. So that is how comments work in HTML. Next, we are going to look at MDN. MDN stands for Mozilla Development Network. So we'll just come to Google. I want you to understand this because this is what you will be doing in most cases as a developer. You will have to visit some documents to understand the documentation of how something works. So MDN is for developers. You can see how you can learn and all that. This is a good place for you to start and begin to understand some of these things. So I'll click on HTML here to get it open, and then you can see we have a couple of things about HTML. It is the most basic building block of the web. It defines the meaning and structure of web content and all that. So you can take your time to read this. If you want to look at some tutorials, you can start from here. But the main aim I'm showing you this is because in most cases you're going to be referring to this to make different projects, so it is important you understand it. And then moving further, we're going to talk about the next thing, which is HTML tags. And HTML tags are many. Remember in our first introduction where let's go back to it, we talked about this. We have an opening tag and the closing tag and content in between, where this tag name can be anything. So now we want to look at the various HTML tags that are available, and then let's still do that by looking at our MDN documentation again. So I'll come back here, but instead of just this, I'll put HTML tags space, and then I put this. So I have this here. So you will see that from this there are lots of tags. We have the main root, which is this one we're seeing, which covers everything. And I also told you why this en is here. English, if you want in French, you would put, I think, FR. If you want in Dutch, I think it's DE. You can also do research on that to understand how it works. So that is how you see different pages translate to other languages. So now that is the root tag, and then there are lots of tags here. You have document metadata, which are always in the head, and then you also have the body section, and then you have lots of tags. There are lots of tags here. We can scroll between, or we can scroll through all of them. There are so many, but I will tell you one thing: don't get scared. You won't be using most of these as you begin to develop. We are going to look at some of the basic ones which we are going to be using often, and I'll give us this link so that we can also look at it. I'll be posting this in the section so that you can come to this website and look at it next, or you can go through Google and it will be easier for you. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is some of the common tags which we have, and I've listed some of them here. The first, we have H1, H2, H3 to H6. Let's come back to code and see this. So let's call this header tag, and then because we want to comment so you understand what we're doing, so we can put H1, enter it. Let's put welcome, and then I'll duplicate this a number of times. You do this by holding your shift and your, I think, control or your option keyboard key, and then you do this a number of times. I'll be changing this to H2. I'll change the next one. I do this when I highlight and hold. I'm trying to teach you some of the shortcuts if you're using Visual Studio. So when you highlight, you double click, it highlights. If you want to highlight the next one, you press Control and D, it highlights the next one. Then you can edit both of them at the same time. H3, then we'll do the same thing here. H4, we'll do the same thing here. H5, I'm supposed to highlight both of them. H5, and we'll do the same thing here. H6. So if we save them, and let's look at what happens here. If we save them, we can see it starts from the biggest one to the smallest one. So this is about sizes, different sizes. In some instances you require a small heading. That is where you use this one, while in some instances you require a big one. So this is one of the tags that you would be using often. Then the next tag you will be using often is the P tag, which is for paragraph. And the P tag is simple. It's just for paragraph. You just enclose whatever you want in a P tag. You want to start a paragraph, P. Now there's something in VS Code which is called lorem ipsum. It helps you fill words. So if you type LOREM and you want 10 words, you just put lorem 10 and you press enter. It will give you 10 words. If you want 50 words, you put lorem 50. It gives 50 words. So if we save that here, you can see we have a paragraph. After this paragraph, if we want to create another paragraph, let's make this 5. So you can see, if we want to, I believe you understand. So these are paragraphs, and it consists of an opening tag and a closing tag. When you see text like this, they are done with the p tag. So the next we are going to be looking at is button. If you want to make a button, you just have to, I want to make this readable for us. I'll paste this here and paragraph, and then the next one should be the button. So the button tag is very simple. You just put button and enter. It creates the closing tag for you, and we can put login here. And if we save this, you can see we have a simple button saying login, and you can see if you click on it, some interaction takes place. So that is the button tag. The next one is the list tag. List tag, and there are two types of lists. We have UL and OL. UL stands for unordered list, while OL stands for ordered list. And then this LI you see inside them is known as the list items. So I will start with the first one, the UL, unordered list, and I'll create it by UL, and we want to give the items inside. So let's say the first one is, okay, I'll do something here. I'll use an H1 tag. Let's say, sorry, H3 tag. Let's say programming languages, and then inside of here we list some of them. Li, you must do this for each of them. Li, let's say Python, and then the next one, if I want to duplicate this, I'll do this by holding my shift and option and press my arrow down several times to duplicate, and then I can call this, double click to highlight everything. Let's say JavaScript. If you know how to do this, it will make your coding life easier. So we'll type Java, and then let's see Ruby, and then let's see which one do we put here now? Let's say C++. So if we save here, so you can see what happens to another list. It creates these bullet points for us instead of using an ordered list now, which would be numbers. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste here again, but I'll change this to OL for ordered list so we can see the difference. So if I change to OL, we can now scroll. You see we have Python and the rest, but now we have numbers in them. So let's say inside an ordered list we want to make another ordered list. Maybe after JavaScript we want to make another ordered list here, and let's say Angular. We still have to use our list items, Angular JS and Node.js. So let's just use both of them. So you can see it indents automatically for you and creates the nesting. So that is about list items. Moving further, we're going to talk about other things. There are two types of tags in HTML. We have a tag that opens and closes, just like we have been seeing here. It has an opening tag and a closing tag, and then we have the other one which is known as the self-closing tag, and it is like this. You can see, we've not talked about images and links, but we're going to look at this. This is how you want to, if you want to add an image, use img src. This is known as, this stands for the image, src for the source, and then where the image you want to add, this is house.jpg. And then the other, but my emphasis now is not on how all this works. We are going to look at it. I just want you to understand the types of tags we have. We have opening and closing tags, and then we have what is known as the self-closing tag. And then I can also teach us one immediately, which is known as the break tag. So let's see that. I'll come back here quickly and I'll scroll up a bit. Let's say after this place we want this paragraph to be broken into two. We can use the br tag here, and it's like this. It's a self-closing tag. It means break. So if we use that, if I save now, let's see where it is. Okay, here. So if I around here, so if I save now, you see it breaks it and brings it back to a new line. So if I put this a number of times, br a number of times, you can see that it will continue to push it down and down. So this is an example of a self-closing tag. So now the next thing you're going to do in this section is an assignment. I would want you to make this page. It is very simple. I've called the title assignment, and this is a h1 tag called my HTML journey, and you have seen what we have here. And I use an ordered list, and inside the ordered list for the first one, I have used an unordered list here, as you can see, and then I added a button here. This should be pretty simple for you to do.